Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress. Over the board chess is back in 2021. Since the corona pandemic we only had one elite over the board event, which was Norway Chess, held in October 2020. But tomorrow, which is Saturday, January 16th, 2021, the Tata Steel Chess Tournament will start in Wijk aan Zee in the Netherlands. And hopefully that will be the first of many over-the-board events in the new year. Normally, the Tata Steel tournament is an event for thousands of players, professionals and amateurs, but everything has been cancelled apart from the top group, the Masters event. Let's see what the organizers themselves have to say about the 2021 version of their tournament, which goes back all the way to 1938. On the Tata Steel 2021 website it says the Tata Steel Chess Tournament is considered as one of the most prestigious international chess competitions on the international calendar. During its 83 years of history, the so-called Wimbledon of chess has been fortunate to welcome an impressive list of renowned, a typo there, renowned international chess grandmasters from around the world. Also, during the pandemic, we are happy to confirm that this uninterrupted tradition can continue to take place in the coastal village of Wijk aan Zee. In order to be able to do so, the organization have collaborated closely with the relevant governmental, health and safety bodies and the community key stakeholders to ensure that all measures have been put in place to optimally guarantee the safety of the chess grandmasters and all other stakeholders. Following the national and regional guidelines, it has been decided to focus solely on the 14 Tata Steel Masters for this edition. And just as chess enthusiasts have come to expect from the tournament, this year's selection of Grandmasters is just as exciting as it has been in other years. Unfortunately, the current conditions to organize an approved and COVID-19 safe top sport event do not allow for either the Tata Steel challengers nor the amateur players to take part in the event. Equally, attendance by public will be regulated by the reigning COVID-19 regulations at the time of the tournament and will need to be confirmed at a later stage, as all side events have had to be cancelled for the same reasons, and the main focus will be on providing the broadest fan base optimal online viewing opportunities to enjoy this 83rd edition. So it is all going to start again on Saturday, 16th of January. The rate of play is 100 minutes for 40 moves, followed by 50 minutes for 20 moves and then 15 minutes for the remaining moves, with a 30-second increment for each move starting from the first move. And it was tournament director Jeroen van den Berg and Dutch number 1 Anish Giri who presented the field in a YouTube video in December, and they presented a star-studded field. But since that presentation and the start of the tournament, 4 players had to drop out because of COVID-19 related reasons. These 4 players will not play in Wijk aan Zee even though they were announced. The teenager Nordebek Abdusattarov from Uzbekistan will not be there. Neither will be Danil Dubov, the brilliant Russian player. Also, Shahryar Mamedyarov from Azerbaijan will not take part this year even though he was announced. And so is Jan Nepomniachtchi, the leader, halfway the candidates tournament, which will hopefully also resume in 2021. So who will play? Let's look at the field. 14 players will be there. Carlsen, the world champion, is there. Caruana, the world number 2 and the last challenger of Magnus Carlsen, and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Anish Giri will be there. Ali Reza Firouzja, the very exciting talent, and Jan Krzysztof Duda, sorry, the last part of his name has fallen off the page, from Poland. Pentala Harikrishna is one of the replacements for the 4 players that could not make it, and so is Radoslav Wojtasek from Poland. David Anton qualified through the Challengers tournament last year and he will play in the Masters this year. And we have Andrei Yesipenko from Russia, Jordan van Foreest from the Netherlands, and Alexander Donchenko is also one of the replacements of the players who could not make it. His last name fell off the page, but that is Alexander Donchenko from Germany. The last 2 players are Niels Grandelius, also a replacement, he's from Sweden, and another Norwegian, Arjan Tari. I'm planning to do daily videos on the event, as will many other chess YouTubers, so I'm going to try to do something different. I'm sure if Magnus Carlsen wins a game and the other 6 games end in draws, then every chess YouTuber will showcase the Carlsen game. So I'm going to try to do something differently. I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe I'll give highlights of all 7 games with analysis of some critical moments, but I definitely will try and not do the same as all the other chess YouTubers. What about this video to warm up? Well, I had a look at the history of the Tata Steel tournament, which was called the Chorus tournament before, and before that, for many years, the Hoogovens tournament. I went back 50 years to the 1971 edition and I found a very nice game and a very nice game fragment that I want to show you. In the 12th round of that edition, we had the clash between former world champion Tigran Petrosyan, who lost his world title to Boris Spassky 2 years earlier. He had the white pieces and his opponent was Hans Rey from the Netherlands. Petrosyan was the favorite with a rating of 2640. 220 points more than Rey. Let's see what happened in this game. Petrosyan opened with a c-pawn, e5, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3 and knight c6. We have an English opening on the board and all 4 knights are developed. g3, bishop b4 and here bishop g2 is the main move according to the database. But in this game Petrosyan decided on the second most favorite move, which is knight d5. Bishop c5 is the main move to preserve the bishop pair, but in the game Rey decided on another option, which is also fine. Knight takes d5, just taking that knight off. Petrosyan had to recapture. It's attacking the knight on c6, and you can play knight d4, that is the main move in this variation. But Rey played another one, e5, e4, question mark. It's counter-attacking the knight on f3, but it turns out this move is a blunder. And why is it? Well, Petrosyan saw it, he took on c6 and you have to take on f3, otherwise you just lost a piece. And now, dear viewer, if you want to put the video on pause and look for yourself and see if you can find a move that ends this game on the spot. No, it's not a checkmate or a loss of heavy material, but it's a move that gives white a big advantage. It actually wins a piece for white. And there's only one move that accomplishes this. And of course, former world champion Petrosyan found it. Let's see if you find it. The move, the only good move in this position, and the move that wins a piece is queen d1 to b3, which master Hans Rey had missed. What does this move do? Well, for starters, it's attacking the bishop, so you have to do something about that. And the problem is that you cannot retreat that bishop. For example, you cannot put it on e7 to safety, because then there is the second threat in the position, which is c takes b7, protected by the queen and forking rook and bishop. And that is a big problem for black. Don't think you can play rook b8 to pin the b-pawn this way, because white can just promote to a queen. Rook takes b3, queen takes check, king takes and a takes b3, and white is a handful of pieces up. So after c takes b7 all you can do is give up your bishop, queen takes b7 and white has won a piece. Okay, let's go back to queen b3. So bringing the bishop from b4 to safety does not work. What about queen e7? Can we protect the bishop on b4? Yes, we can. But then there is simply a2, a3 with the same problem for black. Black will either lose this bishop or the other one because of the c takes b7 threat. One final thing to look at, if we take on e2, does that make any difference? No, white calmly recaptures and it does not change the situation. Black will still lose a piece. Playing a piece down against the Grandmaster does not make any sense, especially as there is no compensation for the piece whatsoever. Also, it is mentally very difficult to play on after this happened to you. But 3 years ago in Wijk aan Zee we saw Magnus Carlsen blunder a piece against Gawain Jones in the Tata Steel tournament. Carlsen did play on and managed to win the game. You can find the video I made on the game up here. But in this situation, Hans Rey resigned. A big deception. One day after Rey had beaten Viktor Korchnoi in a wonderful game in round 11. But that all must have been wiped out of his mind because of this disaster that happened to him in round 12. Earlier in the tournament, in round 3, Rey was also involved in an interesting, amusing incident with Miguel Najdorf, who had the white pieces here and Rey was black. We are on move 45 after the game was adjourned. The last move from white was rook b7 to b6, and now Hans Rey decided to promote the pawn on c1, but he could not find the queen to promote the pawn too. First I thought that was very strange, because where was the black queen that had been taken during the game? But as I said, this was an un-German session, so the arbiters had set up the position but not left the captured pieces next to the board. So Rey could not find the queen, and what did he do? He just left the pawn being a pawn on c1 and wrote down on his score sheet that it had been promoted to a queen. So we had this position on the board, and Miguel Najdorf had been walking around, and when he came back to the board he went ballistic. What is that thing doing on c1? Is that a bishop? What is it? And he refused to play on, and there was a big scandal which went on for many days. In the end, Najdorf came to his senses and the game was continued, and indeed a queen appeared on c1. And Najdorf resigned here, with many cameras clicking, taking photographs. Many press people were that final session to see what would happen in the end. Here Najdorf resigned, and when I fed his position to the engine actually doesn't agree that black is winning here. The engine says, why don't you take that queen off? Knight takes f6 check, bishop takes and rook takes. And even though black has the better chances in this game, white can fight on in this position. It's not that simple to win for black. If the position is won at all, the engine only gives a minus 0.6 advantage for black. So this was a mysterious game in many ways. The Dutch master Hans Rey had a very eventful tournament. A beautiful win against Korchnoi, a horrible game against Petrosian, and then this saga against Miguel Najdorf with that pawn promoting or not promoting. In the end, after many days and much discussion, the pawn did promote to a queen. That was 50 years ago. We're all looking forward to the 2021 edition. And I hope you will follow the tournament with me on Chess to Impress. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. It is almost dark here, I better turn on some lights. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.